We don't talk enough about the grief we may experience as we become caregivers, because there are many losses that we may face when we go through this transition. It is not only the loss of the person we love before they die or they are no longer with us, are the losses that are there and we don't talk about them. For example, the loss of the person we used to be. Because I hear from clients, Ligia, where am I now? Who am I now? I stopped existing. And that I hear a lot. The thing is that people don't talk about it. They don't want to say anything because they may be afraid, scared that others are going to judge them. That's why in those cases, when we talk about support groups, they help a lot. And that's why I wanted to talk to you about that. I want to explore the topic and to give you ideas on how to transition this situation now, how to navigate it as you become caregiver, that on one hand, you have all that love. On this hand also, you want to continue taking care of yourself. Hello, this is Ligia Huben. Welcome to my podcast. I am a thanatologist and grief specialist, and I have dedicated my life to help grievers. And also, besides a thanatologist, I'm a gerontologist working with older adults. So I have heard this so much because we become caregivers, we may become caregivers not only of our parents. I was a caregiver of my mom for many years, but also we may become caregivers of our spouse, of our children. So we want to explore what is going on, what happens when we are in that situation. People may grieve the relationship they had. Caregivers now may have a different role. Obviously, they're a caregiver, and then there's a shift in that role. There's also a shift in the life they used to have. Suddenly, the plans have changed. Sometimes it feels like you're living a total new life. Has that happened to you? How are you dealing with that? Because what we want to do is to validate how you are feeling, to validate what is going on in your heart. Because that doesn't mean that you do not love your loved one. Of course you do. Is that you also want to pay attention to your emotions, because now this is a reality. And one of those realities, what I hear a lot, is the loss of self. Ask themselves how they are going to continue being themselves and at the same time caring for others. This is the question I ask you. What are you doing to take care of yourself? What are you doing? How are you paying attention to your needs? There are things that we can do, and at the same time, we care for others. When I took care of my beloved centenarian mom, I always paid attention. I was devoted to her, very close to her. And at the same time, I paid attention to my needs. For me, having time to, for example, to exercise was essential, because that helps me, handle my emotions. When we change our physical state, we change our emotional state. I always say that. Also, it was important for me to meet from time to time with good friends I have, to have something to drink, to talk about it, to have dinner or lunch. So all those things, I paid attention. Yes, I adapted to the new situation, of course. However, I wanted to leave that time, to take time to write down how I felt. So our emotions, to be in touch with our emotions, and at the same time to give all that love to our loved ones. So I ask you, what are you doing right now? to take care of yourself. Now, when you ask these questions, it just means that you are connecting with how you feel. And sometimes people may feel guilty. They say, Ligia, I shouldn't feel this way. But you're human if you're feeling that way. You're human. And what you want is to process all that you are experiencing inside and validate what you are feeling. That's the most important thing, to validate it. Now, it may be hard. It may be hard. That maybe it's a lot. Yes. Maybe it's more than you can handle, and you may feel overwhelmed. That's one of the words that some of my clients use, overwhelmed. And I did another episode on being overwhelmed. And being a caregiver can bring you that sensation. There's also another situation, and it is when the caretaker, the caregiver, also needs care. That happens a lot as we age, because our spouse may have health conditions that we need to take care of them, and then we may have health conditions that need care as well. Maybe your spouse was before your caretaker, and now you have become his or her. How do you handle that? And that is what you want to remember. You can always do something with what has happened to you. The thing is that we don't go there and we just continue pretending that things are okay. We don't ask for help, and we wear the mask, and inside of us we may be upset, we may feel guilty, we may feel frustrated, and you know what? All those emotions you may project to your loved one, not knowing this, because you may want to be there for them all the time, and inside you feel frustrated because you feel that you lost your life. That's why one of the things I suggest to you is to have a support system. If you can have that, that would be wonderful. To have a support system, to stay in touch with friends. If it is not possible for you to be going out much, stay connected. Talk on the phone, do Zoom, do FaceTime, connect. Maybe they may come, to your house, your apartment, and visit you, pay a visit. Maybe you take some time to go there and ask for someone to stay at home with your loved one, if that is okay, if it's, if he or she is stable and you can just be absent for a couple of hours. People do that. I know of this lady who, her husband had Parkinson, and that's what she did. She would take some time off, someone would stay with him, taking care of him, while she was able to have lunch with someone, to go to the beauty parlor, to go to the gym. So these are small things that you can do, and that can help, because you are recharging and you don't feel that resentment that at times happen. At times people feel, as I said before, guilt. They may feel resentment. They may feel frustrated. They may feel angry. All these emotions they may experience. And that's why when you pay attention to what you need and you start giving yourself some of that based on your situation, I don't know your situation, however, if it is possible, then do it. Something I did when I was taking care of my mom was I had some exercise machine, at home, equipment to do it at home. So there are things that we can do to start feeling better about ourselves, because what we want is to be with our loved one in a space that is based on love, on patience, on compassion, all those things. So when you are able to deal with all those other emotions that are human and they may happen, you process all that. Write down how you feel. Remember, I've shared with you in other episodes how to deal with emotions, go into our thoughts, how we are thinking about the situation, how we're thinking about, so I stopped existing now. I am no longer myself. I became invisible. We want to move those thoughts and replace them with, I am here. I am still so and so. My life has changed still. However, I am this person. I'm paying attention to my needs. And you find a balance. So you can give all your love and all your care to your person, to your loved one, and at the same time, you pay attention to yourself. Please always check where your thoughts are taking you, okay? Because those thoughts are going to make a difference on how you are taking care of your loved one, on how you are taking care of yourself. And embrace gratitude. Sometimes people tell me, what is for me to be grateful for? Of course, there are things that it's a situation can be challenging. Yes. However, to be grateful to be able to do this, to be able to have this type of service, to be able to. So you want also to shift to those things, even tiny, that you feel grateful for, instead of focusing only on all the things that are terrible now and you feel that burden, because that's what you want to shift, okay? I have shared with you things that I share with some of my clients who go through this situation, this transition, and when they apply these ideas, that helps them a lot. So that's why I wanted to share them with you, so you take care of yourself, you take care of your loved one, and you come from a place of love. If you have not subscribed to this channel and you like the message I shared with you, I would greatly appreciate if you subscribe, if you give me a like. If you know someone who's a caregiver, you may want to share this with them so they can also embrace these ideas. I will be sharing with you, if you go down, under the video, I have a link that can take you to a small guide, a small PDF that I created for you with ideas on how to take care of yourself while you are taking care of your loved one. Thank you for being here. From my heart to yours.